In 2015, I was living in San Diego, California, and my husband, then boyfriend, and I were living together. It was, I think, our second Christmas together, and he surprised me with UGG, like fleece-lined sweatpants. I was having clear discharge at the time. I was denying myself that opportunity to wear these really luxurious sweatpants, and that's when I noticed something was wrong. So I made an appointment with my primary care physician. She suggested that I should just do Kegels. Was treated for an overactive bladder for 13 months. And in March, I was referred to a gynecologist who did a pap smear during our first meeting and immediately said that my cervix was hard. She immediately did a colposcopy to scrape the cells. I went home and was pretty scared. My gynecologist called me to let me know that I had cervical cancer. I think that Thursday or Friday I finally got in to see the gynecological oncologist. One of the first questions that I remember him asking me and my then boyfriend, now husband, was if we had ever wanted to have children and what our plan was. We went through IVF and we were really happy that we created many healthy embryos. At that point in my cervical cancer journey, my surgeon informed me that my cervical cancer was much worse. Instead of a 2 to 3 centimeters tumor, it was more like a 6 centimeter tumor. It was too risky to remove it surgically, so I would need to go through chemo and radiation in order to be eligible to go through the surgery at a later date. I started treatment with radiation on the Tuesday following Memorial Day of 2017. I had 30 rounds of radiation and 6 rounds of chemo to get through in just as many days, practically. It seemed like an impossible mountain to climb. Right after the 4th of July, I had finished radiation and chemo, and the next step I knew I was going to have to do was to have a radical hysterectomy. August 7th. 2017 is when I had the surgery. Radical hysterectomy involved them removing my uterus, fallopian tubes. Because the tumor had an abnormal growth pattern, they had to remove part of my vagina as well. It was supposed to be the best day ever, but it really was just the beginning of healing. I just was starting to realize all the things that cancer had taken away from me. I knew I would become a mom someday. Ultimately, we decided to go through an agency to be matched with a surrogate. In July of 2020, our surrogate had the embryo transfer. We sat in the doctor's office with our surrogate. Not only did we find out we were pregnant, we found out that there was 2 heartbeats and that we would be parents to identical twin boys. It felt like all of our hopes and dreams and prayers were answered. What I would tell another person going through cervical cancer treatment is make sure you match well with your doctor and reach out and find your community. You deserve that things will get better, and knowing that the sun will come out again, I think, is really critical to navigating it with grace and as best as you can. I think it's important that I tell my story because it's all about turning my pain into purpose. If I can prevent one other woman from facing what I went through, then it makes it all worth it.